بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. So this is our last lesson, alhamdulillah, and the Shaykh finishes off by just mentioning a few fatwa of the ulama regarding certain issues, regarding especially regarding Taraweeh and the difference between that and Tahajjud if there is one, and also should you do a dua when you finish the Quran, and so on. And something Shaykh Fawzān has compiled. He answers, but he also gives fatwa from Ibn Baz and a few other ulama like Abu Battin and others, alhamdulillah. And a lot of what he's saying is just regurgitating what we have said before. So first, this paragraph talks about the Tarawih prayer and how it should be prayed. And then he finishes off by saying, as for the number of raka'at, then it's not something specific. It's not person that say you have to pray this many, like we do for Dhuhr or Asr. So for that reason, it says that the ulama differ in the number of raka'at. And we've talked about this issue before. That's why, the Shaykh, he says, وَالصَّحِيحُ أَنَّ ذَلِكَ رَاجِعٌ لِنَوْعِيَّةِ الصَّلَاةِ. That how many raka'at should a person do? It goes back to the type of salah. And this we talked about before. فَمَنْ كَانَ يُطِيلُ الصَّلَاةِ فَإِنَّهُ يُقَلِّلْ مِنْ عَدَدِ الرَّكَعَاتِ. Whoever wants to make the salah longer, then do less raka'at. كما كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يفعل. ومن كان يخفف الصلاة رفقا بالمأمومين فإنه يكثر عدد الركعات. If you're making the salah shorter, then increasing the raka'at. كما فعل الصحابة. Like the Sahaba did when they did 20, or those later Imam Malik did 36 and so on. And then he's saying that anyway there's more than 11 and says بدعة فهو قول مجازف فيه وقائله لا يعرف ضابط البدعة. The one saying this doesn't really understand what bid'ah is. وقد حكم على فعل الصحابة بأنه بدعة. And they've ruled that what the Sahaba have done is a bid'ah. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. Then the next issue the Shaykh talks about is regarding the last 10 days. And increasing and trying to find later qadr, so increasing the number of raka'at to pray. And basically this issue is going to be repeated a few times because the Shaykh talks about it, then he brings the fatwa of somebody else and the fatwa of somebody else, and so it's talked about a few times. But basically the Shaykh is saying that it's permissible. There's nothing wrong with increasing in the number of raka'at because the Prophet used to work hard in the last 10 nights, then he would do in the first few, and also and he used to stay with the whole night, ahya layla, and also some of the these are going to bring a few narrations from the Salaf how they would increase in the number of raka'at and so on. So that shows that there's nothing wrong with that. So that's the Shaykh basically talks about. And this paragraph over here, هذا ولا بد, here talks about a mistake that some people do, which is regarding praying 4 raka'at and ending 1 salam. So praying 4 together and saying that shouldn't be done. It should be 2 2. So even if you pray 4 raka'at, let's say you pray only 4 raka'at, for argument's sake, that should be done 2 2. Even that shouldn't be done 4 and 1. Now, then he brings a few answers of some of the ulama regarding this, regarding the adad raka'at. Shaykh Muhammad al-Wahhab, he says 20, but then the Shaykh further expands on that, saying that if you want to follow Sahaba, nothing wrong with doing 20, but and some of the Salaf did more, and some of the Salaf did less than that, and it goes back to the type of salah. Then he talks about how to pray, and we've talked about this. Now, and yeah, it's quite long, but it's everything we've talked about. There was one narration that I did want to point out, though, this one here. وراء ابن أبي شيبة عن ورقة كان سعيد بن جبير يؤم الناس ويؤم بنا. سعيد بن جبير used to lead us في رمضان فيصلي بنا 20 ليلة 6 ترويحات، فإذا كان 10 الأواخر اعتكف في المسجد فصلى بنا 7 ترويحات، فتبين بذلك أن الصحابة والتابعين كانوا يمدون الصلاة إلى قرب طلوع الفجر. Basically, the point being is that he used to do a certain amount in the first 20 days, and last 10 he increased and he added one more. So he did more, but he basically did more in the last 10, which shows that even the Salaf would increase. And we're going to talk about a bit more later on. And then they talk something about ta'qib, and the Shaykh is saying that ta'qib is, sorry, that's not here. Ta'qib is in the next part. نعم تعقيب, it talks about it here at the bottom. Salat al-Ta'aqib. See, now some ulama dislike Salat al-Ta'aqib, and that Salat al-Ta'aqib is basically after you prayed witr, you pray more. After you prayed witr, you pray more. So the Shaykh saying, a person who prays Qiyam at night, he's not prayed witr. They don't pray witr. They leave and then they continue later. So there's nothing wrong with that. Now. And then Shaykh brings a few other narrations and ayat regarding worshipping Allah at night. And then there's a few ajub of Shaykh Ibn Baz that he finishes off with. So the first one is regarding Tuma'nina. So the question basically asks that, look, our Imam prays too fast. So the Shaykh, he says that, look, the most important thing is Tuma'nina in Salah. You have to have Tuma'nina in your Salah, so you can't go too fast. The second question is basically a refutation regarding those that pray 4 together instead of doing 2 and 2. So we talked about that. The next question is regarding reciting the whole Quran. Saying what is legislated is that you do recite the whole Quran. However, so that should be a goal. Try to listen to the whole Quran. Otherwise, when are you going to listen to the whole Quran? The Prophet ﷺ did revise the whole Quran with Jibreel alayhi salam. However, the Shaykh does say, إذا لم يشق عليهم مع العناية بالترتيل والخشوع والطمأنينة. As long as it doesn't become too difficult for the people, and you recite, with tartil and khushu' and طمأنينة, tranquility. So that shows, especially in UK now, the time's getting a bit less. So there's a bit more. It's coming earlier, so there's a bit more freedom. But especially a few years ago, Salat al-Isha was at 11 p.m. Now, obviously, for you to do the whole Quran then is really difficult, especially those that have work. It does become really difficult. So in that scenario, nothing wrong with reading less. But as the time's coming less and less, then again, nothing wrong with reading. Even was in Masjid Sunnah this year, we did half a juz. We did half the Quran. And alhamdulillah, I think a lot of people enjoyed it because a lot of people were used to listen to the whole Quran but really fast, so they really enjoyed the fact that we read nice and slow. Alhamdulillah. But at the same time, especially in a couple of years time, because UK the time changes, the Tarawih will be before that, so Isha will be quite early, maybe like 6 p.m. 7 p.m. Which means you can finish by 9 latest. You can finish by 9 o'clock, and that's fine because people normally sleep later than that. So in those scenarios, still it should be a goal to finish the whole Quran. That is something very important, to listen to the whole Quran in Ramadan. But still, if it is difficult for certain people, they're not able to stand for that long, that should be taken into consideration. But without going to the two extremes, one is making it too long, and the other is just making it into a joke, or we need to do less, it's too hard for the people. No, the whole point is standing at night, and it has to be some sort of effort that you put in. No. Here talk about Dua al-Khatmah, that some people have said that doing dua when you finish the Quran is bid'ah. That is the case. And the Sheikh basically goes, number 4 and number 5 talks about this. Number 5 just start off answering the question of doing it every night. And the Sheikh says, Ibn Baz says, there's no problem doing it every night. Some of the Sahaba left it, a few nights. And the way that the Sheikh answered, he said that maybe, the person did that to show, or the companions did that to show that it's not obligatory. And some of them have said that it shows that you shouldn't do it all the time, you can miss out a few days. But the Shaykh is saying that if somebody does do it every single day, then there's no problem in that. And then Shaykh Fawzan carries on to explain the issue of Dua al-Khatam, and that is completely fine. And he mentions how many of the ulama have done it. He mentions here Uthman radiallahu anhu, Sufyan ibn Uyayna, the statement of Shaykh al-Islam he mentions. Then he mentions the answer of Shaykh Abu Battin regarding it. And I've actually, subhanAllah, I normally highlight the main things, but this whole section I kind of highlighted. So make sure you read all of this, and it mentions a lot of narrations, such as Anas radiallahu anhu, إذا ختم القرآن جمع أهله ودعاه. They finished the Quran, they gathered his family together, and they all made dua together. And he mentions a lot more on Mujahid and others. He mentions a narration in Ad-Darimi. There's the one on Mujahid. Narration in Ad-Darimi. My print is different, so it's harder for me to find. This one. وروى الدارمي بإسناده عن حميد الأعرج قال من قرأ القرآن ثم دعا أمن على دعائه 4,000 ملك. That Hamid al-A'raj said that whoever has the Quran and then makes a dua, then 4,000 angels say Ameen to his dua. That's what it means by Ammana. Now, so there's a lot. And then the Shaykh finishes off saying that, so there's nothing wrong, but without going to the both extremes, for that ifrat or tafriq, not making it too less and not making it too long. as well. And at the end is the last fatwa from Al-Lajna Da'ima, which has been signed by Ibn Baz and Sheikh Abdul Aziz as a Sheikh also, is regarding the number of rak'at of Tarawih, which we have already talked about, but it's a good thing to read. And with that, alhamdulillah, we have finished the book. And it's very beneficial. It's very, very beneficial, alhamdulillah. And yeah, this should be a book that you repeat and learn. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the lessons and enjoyed reading the book. And like I said in the beginning, the objective is to read, for you guys to read the whole book in Arabic. So inshallah you've completed that. And if anybody does want to get into contact and let me know how they found these lessons and how they found, did it motivate them to actually read, that'll be very, that'll be good to hear as well. Maybe in the comments, or just message me inshallah. So we'll finish here. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika, la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.